So, good morning to all of you. That means those who have joined and those who are going to join shortly. For all of them, good morning. In the last class, in under this broad heading of geography, we have tried to understand about the distribution pattern, that is continuous and discontinuous distribution, and we have also tried to understand the barriers for this distribution. So now today we can move on to the next important chapter in the geography or biogeography, that is the biogeographic realms. Probably this is one of the new terms for all of you, what exactly meant by biogeographic realms, because in the very beginning I have told you either biogeography or geography itself is a new topic for the undergraduate students. So that's why the study of the realms also is very new to you. But before starting the realms and other things, again I would like to refresh what we have discussed in the first class. In the very beginning, we have tried to understand about the continental drift. So this was how the Earth was a single mass, and that used to be called as Pangea. This is what is known as the Pangea, or what you call the supercontinent. This is the exact picture in the 200 million years back in the early Paleozoic period. This was the structure of the Earth. This was how the Earth appeared. Now, from this Pangea, as a result of continental drift, that the plate tectonics, that got separated, and something 20 million years after that, that means 180 million years ago, during the Mesozoic period, Earth was broken into two large masses. From single supercontinent, that is the Pangea, it was divided into two masses. One is known as Laurasia and another one is known as Gondwana. So Pangea got divided into 180 million years back, Laurasia and Gondwana. Now, something 70 million years back, in the late Mesozoic period, this Earth was still separated, and you can see the separation of land masses. This is still, it is the Laurasia, and this is the Gondwana. Especially the land mass of the Gondwana broken down into number of small pieces, with which you can see, and that is just this is from Pangea to, and here you can see this particular mass hit the Laurasia from the Gondwana, and that is how it became the India, and here where this cursor is moving, there the Himalayan mountains originated. So this is, and the entire Earth is divided into a number of continents. Now, talking about the biogeographical realms, because ಹಲೋ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಹಲೋ ಕಾರ್ತಿಕ್, ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಹಾಂ, ಹಲೋ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? I don't know what has happened, just wait. Lost your network connection, there was some network connection problem. Just a minute. नेटवर्क होगा ना नेटवर्क सही नेटवर्क होगा ना हाँ ಈಗ ಬಂತು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಕಟ್ಟದು ನನ್ನ ಪ್ರತಿ ಸರಿ ಕೇಳ್ತದೆ ಹಾಂ ಬಂದು ನನಗೆ ಯಾರು ಹಾಕಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದು ಹೋಗ್ತೇವೆ
ಅದೇ ಸೈನ್ ಇನ್ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಹಂಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿಟ್ಟು ಪ್ರತಿ ಸತಿ ಹಂಗಾಗಿ
ಹಲೋ ಕಾರ್ತಿಕ್ ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ ಈಗ ಅಥವಾ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ ಈಗ ಕಾರ್ತಿಕ್ ಹಾಂ ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ದರ್ ವಾಸ್ ಸಮ್ ಕನೆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಸೊ ಆಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಎ ಸಡನ್ ಐ ಗಾಟ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕನೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಸೊ ಓಕೆ ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ನೌ this after this formation of the present day continents there were many biogeographers they were I should say wondering is there any commonality as far as the distribution of the plants and animals in this vast expanse of the land is concerned including the water. Then and they have also tried to demarcate the entire present day continents into number of units, larger units, what is known as the biogeographical realms. So that's why a biogeographic realm is the one, it's a very big reason I should say. And one of the common things that you have in biogeographical realm is it's a vast geographical area where a particular group of plant and animal species are evolved. This is one criteria. That is not the only criteria for the formation of biogeographical realms. The one of the major criteria and very important criteria here is the ಮ್, ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ? ಹಲೋ ಹಲೋ ಹಾಂ ಓಕೆ. A biographical region where group of plants and animals are evolved. And when I say group of plants and animals, it is not one or two species of plants and animals, but a very big group of plants and animals which have certain commonality among them, which have certain common things among them. So that's why we can say that where a very big group of plants and animals are evolved. So ultimately, a biogeographical realm, in one way or the other, it is the sum global outcome of entire history of evolution, migration, extinction. So if you study the biogeographical realm, you can understand the evolution and the migration from where they have evolved and now where all they have found, and what might be the reason. Probably the migration may be the reason, and the extinction throughout the history of life of earth. In the sense, it gives us or it tells us the history of earth. Then when you have to demarcate this entire continent into different biogeographical realms, where to put the boundaries for these biogeographical realms? Actually, I will tell you, basically these are boundaries are imaginary on the world map. Imaginary boundaries. And there are certain areas where we have failed to fix even the imaginary boundary because of lot of crossovers between different realms. But most of the reason, most of the time, where the boundaries are fixed, these are the places where dramatic changes in the composition of flora and fauna forms. Suppose at particular area there is a commonality. Afterwards, there may be a dramatic change in the composition um, of both the plants and animals. There we have put the boundary for this biogeographical range. So that's why these biogeographical realms of plants and animals are geographical regions where groups of species are evolved. When I say groups, it is certainly the big groups. And from this center where these groups have been evolved, they migrate or they radiate from the center worldwide, based on the niche requirements, reproductive success, competition, climatic and topographical barriers. From the center of this origin, these species will not remain there. They will migrate worldwide. But for that moment, one thing is they should have, wherever they have the most congenial and convenient environment, they have migrated and survived. And they should have the reproductive success because they should be able to undertake the process of reproduction and perpetuate their lineage. And where there is competition, climatic and topographical barriers, wherever they are able to cross, they have migrated to larger areas or to the other part. Wherever not possible, no, they couldn't cross, they have restricted. So such things are there. So in biogeography, first what we have to do is we have to recognize such distinct regions of this flora and fauna which might have existed in the very beginning of the biogeography or even in the later part. So that's why if you take each realm that contains distinct ecosystems, and that one realm, by having some distinct ecosystem, gets distinguished from the other realm, because in one realm there is one type of distinct ecosystem, in the other realm there will be totally different types of ecosystem. So that demarcates the continent into different biogeographical regions. It was later in 1857 was first interested in understanding this geography, and he divided the continent into 6 realms. For this division, he has not considered all the fauna, but mainly the bird fauna. And first, he demarcated the earth based on the creation or center of creation, divided into two regions, um, Paleogenia and Neogenia. What do you mean the Paleogenia? Paleogenia means old world. Neogenia means new world. Old world refers to Africa and Asia. Of course, Europe also. We call it as old world. And Neogenia refers to North and South America. It's a new world because uh, all of you know that discovery of America is very later by Columbus. Till then it was not known to the world. So that's why all other parts which were known to each other, they are considered as old world, especially Africa and Asia, Europe. Whereas the Neogenia, which includes North and South America, that has been called as New World. Even today we use the term Old World and New World. Old World refers to Africa, Asia, Europe, and New World refers to American continent. In 1876, Wallace is a evolutionary biologist also. He is considered as the father of modern geography. Wallace is considered as the father of modern geography. He agreed with Slater's classification. Slater has divided this into 6 regions. In these 6 regions, 2 regions, one he called Indian and another one is called as Ethiopian. But what Wallace did, he removed the name Indian and Ethiopian because that refers to particular country. So that's why he, wherever the Slater called it as Indian, he replaced it with Oriental. Now that is known as Oriental. What the Slater called in 1857, later for the same Indian we started calling them Oriental. And for African, Slater has called it as Ethiopian, but Wallace has renamed it as African. Only because if you put Ethiopian or Indian, it specifically refers to one country. So in order to avoid this, he has called it as Oriental and African. And he has Wallace studied this geography extensively. So we have in geography there's a separate area called as Wallace line. I will come to that later. In 1876 and 1876, Wallace proposed it, but in 1957, another person, Darlington, he has improvised what the Wallace has marked. So now, see, these are the different geographical reasons. One is Palearctic. So this Palearctic, this area of the Asia and part of Europe, we call it as Palearctic. And the second one is African. Earlier it was known as Ethiopian, but now we call it as African. See, this is the imaginary boundary. Then the third one comes Oriental. Earlier it was called as Indian, but now it is called as Oriental, this particular one. Then comes Australian. See, the Australian island and neighboring islands of Australia, all together we call it as Australia. Then comes Nearctic. See, Tropic of Capricorn and all this South America, we call it as Nearctic. And the last one, the Neotropical, which includes Northern America, above the Tropic of Cancer. See, this is how this geography, the entire continents are divided into 6 geographic realms. And I have told you, the criteria for identifying this is the area where in each of the realm, there is a very big group of animals have evolved, and from here they have migrated. So based on that, we have the first, it is the Slater, later Wallace, and very recently by Darlington, they have made this geographic world um, continent into 6 geographical reams: Palearctic, Ethiopian or African, Oriental, Australian, Nearctic, and Neotropical. These are the 6 regions. Now, see, here also you can see again the same thing. Uh, Single continent block Pangaea, it got separated, and how the division of the continents or breaking of the continents have taken place, breaking the world. Uh, so if you look into the pattern of biogeography, it almost d- d- demonstrates the history. The history you can see, uh, and biogeographical reams reflects the breakup of the supercontinent Pangaea into different continents. And there is a separate line, see here, Celebes and Indonesia and all where comes. There is a separate area, what is called as Wallace line, and this is the line named after very famous geographer who is considered as the father, that is the father of geography, that the valleys. About this Wallace line we will discuss later separately. And see, these are the Nearctic, Neotropical, Ethiopian, Palearctic, Oriental, and Australian. So this is another, actually here in the Pacific Ocean you can see lot of small islands are here in between New Guinea, Australia, and here comes the Oriental, Malayas. Lot of islands are there, and as a result of this, each island has certain specificity, where the species crossover is to the highest maximum limit. So here there are two imaginary lines, one is the Wallace and another one is the Weber's line. About both I am not going to discuss now. So this is the Wallace line in the, this is the Pacific Ocean, this is the Indian Ocean, New Guinea, here comes the Australian, and here you can see the Wallace line. Now, these geographical reams around the world, they have similar environmental conditions. If you take the one geographical ream that in the world that have similar environmental condition, as a result of the similar environmental condition, they are able to have same type of biota, because you know the biota in any particular area depends on its climatic factor. So here, when the biogeographical ream is having a common environmental condition, naturally they have same type of biota. Of course, there may be certain differences, subtle differences. So that's why the biogeographical reams are further separated into biosphere, biome, ecological communities. Because within the biogeographical ream, there may be certain differences. So even we are able to further classify them into smaller regions like biosphere into number of biomes, biomes into ecological communities. And each climatic condition and geographic features support the species with similar life strategies and adaptations. That all of us know. The climatic condition, geographical features having common parameters usually support those species which have similar life strategies and which are adapted to that. The biome is the fundamental unit of larger biogeographical ream, especially the biogeographical realms, are divided into the biomes. To give an example, tropical forest is one type of terrestrial biome. Boreal forest is another type of biome. So within a single biogeographical realm, you can have different biomes like uh, tropical forest biome, savanna biome. One, if I say the tropical forest biome, it may be found in various part of the planet. It need not be found only one area. They are found in various parts of the planet where the climatic and geological conditions are same. For example, the, the tropical evergreen forests are found in the tropic. A tropical region may be found in different biomes, sorry, in different uh, parts of the planet. Wherever there is a tropical environment, there all you can see the tropical rainforest. So that's why, though in the biogeographical realm, it's a larger unit, for the convenience of our study and based on the commonality, that has been divided into number of biomes. A good example is the tropical forest, tropical rainforest. A tropical rainforest may be found in Oriental rim also, African rim also. That means wherever you can see the tropical climate, this tropical rainforest biome is there. I hope you have understood. The tropical forest biome contains the same general kind of biological communities. In any tropical forest, you can see the same type of biological communities wherever it occurs. When I say same type of biological communities, don't think it is the same type of same species. Species may differ, but that is, individual species will not be the same from one tropical forest to another tropical forest. Species composition, assemblage may change, but what's common is wherever you see the tropical forest, it supports the organisms that are ecologically equivalent. Ecologically equivalent species are found in all these tropical biomes. May not be the same species, may not the same species, but species composition, assemblage or type may change, but ecologically they are all equivalent. What do you mean by ecologically equivalent? Different species with similar life cycle and similar adaptation to the environmental condition. We can say that ecologically equivalent species which have similar life cycle and adapted analogously to the environmental condition, same type of environmental condition by developing same type of adaptations. That we call it as ecologically equivalent. So wherever you see the biome, you see the same biological communities with ecologically equivalent species. Geographic factors have played a significant role, I should say, that at every level of taxonomic division. If you want to study the taxonomy, the idea of this geography and geographical parameters and factors which influence on the taxonomic division, understanding them is very, very important. Because all of you know, the populations become isolated by means of geographic barriers. Population becomes isolated by means of geographic barriers. And when the populations are isolated because of the geographical barriers, they will tend to diverge from their species. If you recollect what you have if you recollect what you have learned, studied in the last year in the Galapagos Island while studying this evolution, there was a geographic barrier. The ocean was the geographic barrier. And as a result, the population of the finches got isolated. And each finch population evolved differently. They diverged from their main parental stock and developed into different species. So that's why I have told you the geographical factors always play an important role in the taxonomic level, especially in evolution also. So these barriers include seaways, rivers, mountain ranges, it may be deserts and other hostile environment. Sometimes these factors may appear minor, but certainly they can put a separation, wedge, that is a separation, between the species, causing related species genera to diverge. Because when there is a barrier, the populations get isolated. And this isolated population slowly try to diverge from their related species, from genera, families. That is a very, very important thing where all of them separate, and these geographic factors, including the climatic one in that one, are responsible for all these taxonomic divisions. I have already given you the example of Galapagos Island. Even I can give you few more examples. A very good example can be seen in the African rift system, that is Gregory Rift Valley. This Gregory Rift Valley in the eastern branch of East African Rift System. Here if you see on one side distinctive subspecies of wild beast which are represented on either side of the Rift Valley. That is the wild beasts. But with the subspecies occurring on each side, one subspecies, that is Canochitus taurinus is the species, and one subspecies, that is Albojubatus, found on the east side, and on the west side we have Hickey subspecies on the west. In between there lies the rift. Even other mammals such as blue or diadem, even monkeys also exhibit similar geographical variation. Even the broad Congo River in Central Africa, Congo River flows in the Central Africa, is a barrier between the two congeneric species. What do you mean by congeneric? The species which share the same genus. Congeneric species of primates. For example, the common chimpanzee is found on the northern side of the river, and pygmy chimpanzee, or what you call bonobo, lives on the southern side of the river. Both of them belong to same genera. That is, common chimpanzee we call it as Pan troglodytes, and the pygmy chimpanzee we call it as Pan peniscus. That means both of them evolved from the same genera and they share the same genera. But because of the Congo River flow, these chimpanzees cannot cross the river. That has resulted in the formation of two species. One is common chimpanzee, another one popularly known as pygmy chimpanzee. Now, after this, with this brief introduction about this biogeographical region, Now we should try to understand all the six geographical reams, their the area where they are found, what are the species assemblage, all those things we have to discuss in all the biogeographical reams. First, I have started with Palearctic ream. I have told you there are six reams. With photograph also I have shown you. Palearctic ream. This region includes Europe, Russia up to Pacific coast and Mediterranean region up to Sahara. This is the largest, one of the largest reams, the Palearctic ream. And climate in this is very temperate or polar in the north, sub-zero temperature. So either the temperature is the climate is temperate or polar, ice or very cold. But in Eastern Asia, some part of Eastern Asia, it is temperate with some deciduous forests also, you can see that. But whereas on the northern side of the Palearctic zone, you have grasslands, what is known as steppe. So, in the eastern area, it is temperate with deciduous forest. In the northern zone, mainly you have the grassland, what is known as steppes. And the interior portion of this Palearctic ream is almost arid, dry. So, this is the condition. Here, you can see lot of vertebrates, because the study of animals in the biogeographic is mainly concentrated on the vertebrates. Invertebrates are rarely considered because the study will be very, very difficult for them. The mammals include 33 families of land mammals. Presently, many of the mammals may be worldwide in distribution. But these 33 families evolved in this Palearctic ream. At present, 1/3 of the families of rabbit, mice, dog family, shrews, squirrels, they are found everywhere on the world. Especially the mammals which are restricted to old world, this mainly consists of the old world, include hedgehogs, porcupines, seaweeds, panda, hyena, pygmy. In these four families are shared with another biogeographical ream, that is the Nearctic, especially beavers, jumping mice, flying squirrels and moles. They are found in this ream as well as the other ream, that is the Nearctic ream also. Another four families it shares with African or what you call Ethiopian ream. But there are certain mammals which are endemic. That means they are found only in this Palearctic, not found elsewhere. That includes mole rat, camel, dormice with wild horses, that is Przewalski horse, which is the only wild horse. This is the endemic one. So this is the composition of mammals. If you come to the aves or birds, there are 53 families of birds. Around 78% of them are migratory in nature. All birds have wide distribution. Birds usually have more area because they are found in more area because of their capacity to fly. Though there are 53 families of birds, all the birds have a wide distribution, and the same species of families of birds are shared with Nearctic, Oriental and African region. For example, the pheasants, wrens, finches, warblers, seabirds, geese, birds of prey, crane, terns, gulls. Though it is found in this Palearctic region, they are also found in the Nearctic, Oriental and African region. I mean, when I say these are all the groups of birds, not the species wise they may change, but as far as the groups are concerned, the same groups are found in Nearctic, Oriental and African region also. But there is one bird, that is hedge sparrow. Hedge sparrow is found only in the Palearctic region, and this hedge sparrow is not seen in any other part. Then coming to reptiles, there is no endemic reptilian family. None of the reptiles are endemic to Palearctic region. Lizards, Sinosaurus, alligator, sinensis, they are endemic to part of China. There are lizards, snakes, diplops, sand boa, trionyx, and even amidine turtles in this Palearctic region. But endemism is not there. Then comes amphibian. Generally, amphibians tend to be more endemic compared to other groups. There are some common newts: crested newt, Spanish newt, alpine newts. Newts are more common in this paleotropical region. Even colorless Proteus is blind and lives in the European caves, the blind amphibian. Even the European salamanders, Salamandra atra, and even the species of giant salamander, Megalobatrachus genera, they are found in Japan, China, which can attain a length over 5 feet. So newts and salamanders are more prominent amphibians of this Palearctic region. Anurans are also there: frogs, toads, tree frogs, even midwife toad, which are found in France and Italy. They also are part of this Palearctic region. Carry egg wrapped around their hind leg. But most of the amphibians that we observe here, they show striking similarities with another region, that is the Nearctic region. Lot of common things as far as the amphibians are concerned between Palearctic and Nearctic region. Then comes the fishes. Even the fish fauna also shows affinities with the Nearctic region. Even in Palearctic, there is no endemic fish or carp with the dominant family. Endemic fish and carp is no endemic fish, but carps are the dominant family, that is Cypriniformis, Cyprinidae. There are carps, salmon, pikes, perches, eels, petromyzon in this region, and they migrate from sea to the river to breed. Even there are Amositae larvae, commonly known as sand sleepers, which lives in the mud for several years in European rivers, as if they are undergoing hibernation. In the European river, they remain buried in the mud for several years. Afterward, they may metamorphose and Even few species of toothless sturgeons, they which immigrate from sea to the river of Japan and Russia for laying the eggs. The sturgeons fishes, they migrate from sea to river for breeding purpose. In the river, they lay the eggs. Actually, people of Japan and Russia wait for this moment, waiting for the sturgeons to move. When they come to the river, they harvest them because it is easy to catch them and prepare a very delicious food, which they call it as caviar. Even all the fauna, fish fauna of this Palearctic is a mixture of old world tropics and new world temperate. It's a mixture of both old world tropical fishes as well as the new world temperate fishes. Both of them are found here. So this is about the Palearctic region. So what is important is the assemblage, but you should also know that the climate is temperate, and in the northern part it is most polar type. Here, as far as the vegetation is complete, it has temperate with deciduous forests, and in the northern part, wherever very close to this polar climate, we have grasslands and steppes, and in the interior portion is arid. So if you look into the animal assemblage, there are many the animal assemblage. If you look into that, there are many species or groups which are common both in Palearctic and Nearctic. Undoubtedly, there's a species sharing between the Palearctic and Nearctic region. I'm not talking about the individual species, but the groups of the species. Okay, this is the highlight of this. Next, Nearctic region, probably I will start in the next class, because even if I start also, there is no time for this. So that's why we will discuss about this Nearctic rim in the next class. So now tell me if you have any doubt. There was some problem in between for 3-4 minutes. There was some connectivity issue. Otherwise, ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತಲ್ಲ ವಿವೇಕ್? ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತಲ್ಲ? ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಡಿಸ್ಟರ್ಬೆನ್ಸ್ ಇತ್ತು. ಓಕೆ, ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಕಾವ್ಯ, ಸುಜಯ್, ಸೊ ಇವತ್ತು ನಿನ್ನೆದು ನಿಮಗೆಲ್ಲ ಕಳಿಸೋದಿದೆ, ಈಗ ಕಳಿಸ್ತೇನೆ. ಒಂದಿಷ್ಟು ರೈಟಪ್ ಕಳಿಸೋದಿದೆ. ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟೈಪ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೇನೆ, ಈಗ ಶಾರ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಕಳಿಸ್ತೇನೆ. ಎನಿ ಡೌಟ್? ಮತ್ತೇನಾದರೂ ಡೌಟ್ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಹೇಳಿ. ಹಲೋ, ಆರ್ ಏನಾದರೂ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಏನಾದರೂ ಕೇಳೋದಿದೆಯಾ? ಫೀಲ್ ಫ್ರೀ. ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ 1 or 2 minutes, ದಟ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್. ವಾಣಿಶ್ರೀ, ಏನಾದ್ರು ಡೌಟ್ ಇದೆ? ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸುಜಯ್ ಅವನಲ್ಲಿ ಅವನು ಏನು ಡೌಟ್ ಇದೆಯಣ್ಣ? ಹಲೋ, ಇಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ, ಯಾರಿಗಾದರೂ ಡೌಟ್ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಹೇಳಿ, ಇಲ್ದಿದ್ರೆ ಐ ವಿಲ್ ವೈಂಡ್ ಅಪ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಮಾಡಲಾ? ಶಲ್ ವಿ ಮೂವ್ ಔಟ್? You may be having other class. Okay, thank you for attending the class.